Tuesday, June 16th, and of course, we're talking NFC East quarterbacks because ESPN put out their NFC East all-decade team, and their quarterback was Eli Manning. Everybody loves a good Eli discussion. So, is he actually the quarterback of the decade in the NFC East?
I mean, this is just such a tough question because what are you basing on? Super Bowls, it's obviously Eli Manning. You know, how much he played over the past decade, obviously Eli Manning. Any volume stat points at Eli Manning. You start to look at efficiency, a better clean pocket passing grade, Tony Romo. A better EPA per play from a clean pocket, Tony Romo. Yards per attempt, Tony Romo. Efficiency, it speaks volumes to Tony Romo. If he was healthy, you might have seen more success from Tony Romo. But from a volume standpoint, when you're talking about of the decade, Super Bowl rings, I think Eli is the answer. Is the quarterback I would have rather had, all things considered? Probably no. But looking back, hindsight, I think Eli Manning was the better quarterback of the decade.
Wow, that was an impressive fence sitting right there.
Wow.
Magnificent. It's Tony Romo, and in my opinion, it's not close. If you look at the PFF grade, Tony Romo above 88, Eli Manning at 82 for the decade. That includes the playoffs. And just because Tony Romo had a quarterback worthy of taking his spot after he broke his back, and Eli Manning did not, he didn't break his back, but he was playing kind of like he had one, it's not Tony Romo's fault. Tony Romo had the higher peak. He got a little unlucky. Variance happens, but the best quarterback and the quarterback I would most want to have and the quarterback of the decade in the NFC East is Tony Romo.
It's a struggle when you're talking about the entire decade because all 10 years count. Eli Manning was winning Super Bowls, and he had maybe the best individual season of any NFC East quarterback of the decade. That 2011 year, it wasn't just a Super Bowl win, Austin. He was incredible, a 90-plus grade under the most pressure of any quarterback in the NFL, and he was the catalyst for that Super Bowl run. He was winning Super Bowls while Dak and Wentz and those guys were still in high school. So that was part of the decade. The Romo conversation, it's a fair one. His peak was absolutely higher. He was great. But I think when you're talking about of the decade, all 10 years count, and Eli, because of what he did early in the decade in 11 and 12, and then sustained success after that, it's got to be Eli Manning.
Best single season? How is Nick Foles not entering the conversation here? Had the best Super Bowl run. No, we'll move forward.
It was 2 games.
After Patrick Mahomes, which quarterback would you want to build an NFL franchise around in today's NFL?
Well, our buddy Josh Hermsmeyer on the PFF forecast took Lamar Jackson number 2 after I took Patrick Mahomes. And I'm not going to have a huge beef with that, but I would take Russell Wilson, and here is why. I know more about Russell Wilson. He is a better thrower of the football than Lamar Jackson and has had larger sample size to prove that. So there's way less variance. Lamar Jackson has been incredible. His peak last season was tremendous, but Russell Wilson gives me a better chance year in and year out, knowing what I know about him so far, to win Super Bowls over the next 5 years. Lamar Jackson might hit that peak, but he also might not, and that's a chance I couldn't take. So it's Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I have to agree on the Russell Wilson thing because Lamar came to mind. But I would say a year from now, if we're talking June 2021 and Lamar has another great season, then I think you have a legitimate debate. But we have a bigger sample size of Russell Wilson being very good. Let's not forget his whole career from start to now, very good. And he's actually elevated his game even more over the last 2 years. And when I have Russell Wilson, I'm going to use him differently. I'm not just going to use him play action pass, throwing the ball down the field. I'm actually going to let him throw the ball 40 or 45 times per game because even when he has had to do that a few times, he's shown that he could still play at that high level, probably a tick below peak Brady, Breeze, Manning, and Rodgers. But I'll take that. One of the best quarterbacks in the league. Give me Russell Wilson.
Yeah, Russell Wilson is the obvious answer. Better graded quarterback over a larger sample size. You obviously use him different, not just on third downs like you see in Seattle. But if I was building around Lamar Jackson, I think you could build a stable offense. And the first defensive player I pick is the jet ski he tripped over on that video.
You stole my joke. The jet ski is the only player to successfully tackle Lamar all season. A little scary there. All right, last topic here. Kyle Shanahan, monster extension from the 49ers. Well-deserved, no cap for coaches, but the question is this: is he actually the best head coach in the NFL?
I mean, if we're talking right now, I don't think you could put him there. I don't think you could put him above a Bill Belichick or an Andy Reid because that goes back to sample size as well. Now, if you are talking about, hey, I'm going to lock this guy up for the future, I feel really good about my franchise with Kyle Shanahan at the helm. He has a track record of making offenses better. He has not needed an elite quarterback. He has not needed a top 8 quarterback to have top 5 type of offenses. But when he did get the top 8 quarterback, he got Matt Ryan, and he turned Matt Ryan from a very good quarterback to an MVP quarterback in 2016. I think that track record for Shanahan, fantastic, but I'm not putting him above Belichick or Andy Reid at this very point in their career. Their track record is just a little bit better.
Yeah, Andy Reid and Bill Belichick are obviously the better coaches in the NFL, but can we talk about the greatness that is Kyle Shanahan, why he deserves this contract? I mean, not only does he need an elite quarterback, he doesn't need elite running backs, all undrafted players in that backfield. He doesn't need elite receivers in creating separation. Give me the guys that get yards after the catch that I can draft on day 2 and day 3. I don't need receivers that can create separation. I'll create separation for them through scheme and philosophy. It's exactly what you've seen with George Kittle as well. He doesn't need elite talent to win offensively.
Austin.
That makes a very good coach.
Austin, I've got Neil Hornsby on the line right now listening to my point, and he's going to agree with me wholeheartedly on this, which is that Kyle Shanahan is the best coach in the NFL right now because Steve made my point for me. He got a non-top 10 quarterback to the Super Bowl. Bill Belichick, Andy Reid have not done that. Kyle Shanahan is also, in my opinion, the best leader of men right now. He can connect with all levels of the organization. He's empowered Robert Saleh to create a great defense there. He works well with John Lynch. If there is one coach that I could have for next season, it would be Kyle Shanahan. Now I have to go talk to my boss, so better have won that argument.
You want to get rid of me and get back to more great PFF YouTube content? All you have to do is push that button right there and subscribe. Thanks for watching.